Okay, so this is a little update on my cr10S4. This was my second 3D printer, as I had the TiVo Tarantula right there, and I need something bigger. But what I've done with this is, for one, I got rid of the box and put it on the standalone setup, and I've got boxes underneath that have the electronics, so if I need to change stuff like thermistor or heater wires, it's a lot easier. I've got my little screen here. I've still got the sensor wire for the filament that can basically float up here. But my biggest thing that I've done is, in some of the older photos and videos, you might have seen I had this chain stuff on it. Maybe it works better on the small printers, but I personally do not like this. I did it first, but not now. It increased noise, as well as also it would, when it would go to home, it would come here, and sometimes it would bunch up and catch in between. And then it's skipping the belts and stuff. The other things I've done is, for one, to get rid of that issue, you can see I have a big piece of wire loom here, and what I use are the name tag badge, like little zip pieces, and I take those and I put a zip tie around them. You can see on this printer, put a zip tie here so that this can move freely, and I just put it around the hose and it holds stuff up out of the way. And this is very important, I would say, to put it through this, because if this is still, the string rubs and chafes on the little piece in there, and it will snap it after a while. If it's more like this, where it can flow where it wants to, it lines up with it, so it doesn't go bad near as fast. But back to the cr10S4, there was a few things. I've had this for probably two and a half years now, I think. And after going over and stuff, I went and double checked. After a while, my supports here to stiffen it loosened up, and there was some play in them, which may have been contributing to my prints not coming out as good, which I had noticed here recently. These little spots here for the worm gear screws, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, sorry, but those had loosened up quite a bit. And then one of the things I had done was this. I had the original 3-wheel carriage, then I had upgraded it to a 4 to make it more stable and be better. Then I wanted to go to direct drive to try to do TPU, because I've bunched TPU but can't print with it yet. So what I did was I had bought this bracket. Now it said it was for the, I think it was for a specific printer, but the biggest issue was these prongs were nowhere near where it needed to be. This is where it needed to be. And I couldn't just flip the mounts and stuff for the motors and stuff. That didn't work. So what I had done was I just did the offsets and it bumped it out. But at the same time, I still ran into issues because then, for one thing, the motor was on the back. So it couldn't go up as high because now it's got that much extra stuff there blocking it versus going up a whole inch more or so. But the issue with this was also I had to move my little bed sensor back here, and whenever the print would finish, how it goes to like present you the part and roll it out, it would sit here and the belt back there would just and grind, and all that does is wear your belt out bad. So I got tired of that. I bought a bunch of new direct drive brackets, and they come with these little, they come with a wire for the extension, and then they come with any hardware you need for it to be mounted to it. And how this mounts is the motor goes up on top, and then your hot end here mounts just like the regular plate, but then the motor's on the outside, so you still have your full build volume as far as the Z is concerned. And after that, I went to put this on and realized something. What I had realized was that this extruder, which I'm hoping will also increase the printability of TPU, is a dual drive. So, I mean, the filament goes in between this little groove channel. I'm trying to get the camera to focus on it. But there's another gear back in there. And it's two sides now grabbing the filament rather than just one. Well, this is a lot thicker than your normal cr10 thing because of that dual gear. So I actually had to put these spacers I had printed in, and then along with the ones they had, and I went to Ace to get 45mm long 3mm bolts. Granted, these are longer than I needed, but it was what they had. I'm still going to take these back out and trim them. I just wanted to make sure everything could mount. But this should help both ways of printing TPU, as direct drive is known for being a lot better because you don't have all the slop in the hose. As well as it being direct drive, it cuts down a lot of other spots where it can bind up. But hopefully now I should be able to print TPU parts. And these are just kind of like some spare pieces from the other direct drive kit. They always give you like some extra bolts and stuff. A couple extra fittings. But these little direct drive kits are really nice. I think these were like... I can't remember for sure. I think they were maybe like $11 each. But like I said, it comes with the mount, the extended wire to replace the a little piece of hose for the direct drive setup, and then some of the hardware and stuff. Be warned though, if you try to do the dual drive one, you will you'll have to get longer bolts for sure, because despite direct drive being more geared towards the ability of printing TPU, though this extruder was made to mount here, so it's shorter bolts and stuff. So you do need longer bolts to put this on direct drive, and you can either print yourself spacers or find a bunch of washers or whatever. But this is what I've done to mine. I'll give an update later on how well it prints the TPU, which I'm really hoping it does good now, because I have a bunch of parts for the Mark 40 shotgun suit that need to be printed in TPU. But hopefully this will solve some of the issues. I know it solves some just by going over it. You always want to go over your printer, make sure things are tightened up, like the braces and even just the little parts back here and stuff. But that's about it for updates on the S4.